We're standing in Italy's oldest national park, and for the next few days, we'll be trading our wine glasses for our hiking boots. We'll be tackling a few different hikes through the Gran Paradiso National Park, covering more than 20 miles through the northern Italian wilderness. Along the way, we'll hike to a mountain hut, follow old royal hunting roads, take in some waterfalls, stop at a lake, and find some amazing views of the iconic Mont Blanc. If you thought the Dolomites had Italy's best hiking locked up, this park just might change your mind. Let's get tipsy, y'all. The whole reason we picked this trip was because it is so hot in Bologna this summer. And in Italy in general, I'm sure everyone's seen the big heat waves. It's supposed to be 100 this weekend. So I had Googled, where are there glaciers in Italy? And this is how we ended up here because I needed snow. And we just got our first glimpse at some of the glaciers. And I am so pumped for these hikes this week. We just parked the car and now we get to go hiking. This is like the best. This is my element. A lot of people that I know are beach people. I'm a mountain person. This is where I am the most comfortable. I love mountains. It is almost 7 o'clock. It's like 2 minutes to. Because you guys know at this point we are early risers. There's lots of cars here, but there's actually nobody hiking yet. So let's go. So excited. Chris is not nearly as excited as I am. How can you not be excited? Look at this view. Come on.
We are heading out to our first hike, which links two of the park's most famous mountain huts. Now, according to AllTrails, it should be around, I think a 12-mile loop with just over 4,000 feet of elevation gain. So in true to us fashion, we're definitely kicking things off with the hardest hike first thing. Now, based on what we can tell, the trail should climb up through the forest before it opens up into some of that classic alpine scenery with glaciers and rocky valleys. And eventually we're gonna take a pit stop at the first mountain hut, the Rifugio Vittorio Emanuele II, which sits right beside a small alpine lake at about 9,000 feet.
And as we were researching this hike, we found that both of these mountain huts that we'll visit serve as a base camp for people attempting to climb the Gran Paradiso mountain, which is one of the few peaks that's over 13,000 feet high, and it's located entirely in Italy. We aren't that adventurous today to climb that mountain, so we'll just be stopping by each hut for a quick break, a snack, and maybe a drink. All right, about a mile in, we found the up. We're going to be up for a very long time, which is great because it means we're gonna earn our drinks. This is gonna be a tough hike, and this is gonna be one of the many hikes that we're gonna do on this trip. So if you do like these, make sure you subscribe because in 2 videos from now, we're gonna be doing even more hiking up near a very epic mountain. So we came across some very large animal droppings, and having hiked all over North America, Italy, Argentina, we've gotten a knack for how big animals are based off droppings. This was big. We looked it up. There shouldn't be bears here, but they do have mountain goats that are very, very large. So we think that's what it might be. Maybe it's a horse. That's how big it was, but I guess we'll find out. So that is who our guy is. Not a bear. So there's a longer story to this, but we've been chased by a bighorn sheep in Montana, and we did not enjoy that experience. So we are very happy that this is more of a goat and not a ram type of animal.
It's curious.
He's huge though. We're not gonna hurt you. Are you alone? Chris has picked up a rock just in case. So when we were in Montana, this was back in our RVing days, we were the only ones on this hike. It was a very long hike to get to a glacier. Anyway, long story short, huge bighorn sheep. We saw him from miles. We let him know we were there. We always tell the animals where we are. We stay far away from them. He ended up following us down to the trail and then spooked us pretty bad and then decided to kind of like chase us down the trail. It's kind of crazy. All right, I think we're up out of the alpine. Look at this. We've already got an animal in this view. Gran Paradiso is Italy's oldest national park, But the original story has almost nothing to do with conservation. Well, at least not at first. Back in 1856, King Victor Emmanuel II declared these mountains a hunting reserve, and the entire goal was to protect the ibex population, probably so he could keep hunting them himself without any competition. To manage the reserve, he built stations for his guards to prevent poachers and a network of mule tracks through the mountains, which are some of the same tracks that we'll be hiking this week. But then in 1919, his grandson, Victor Emmanuel III, donated land to the Italian state, and just a few years later, in 1922, Gran Paradiso officially became Italy's first national park. So in a pretty roundabout way, the reason that we get to enjoy this place today is because Italy's first king had an obsession with hunting ibex and wanted them all for himself. We just got our first glimpse right there of Gran Paradiso Mountain. My watch just buzzed that we are now 2 miles in, and look at this view. The reward is absolutely insane. Y'all, I want to live here. Look, honey, starter home right here. Another goat. See him? Hi. We're not gonna bother you. There he goes, just leaving me. We figured out the big poop. It's a guy with a donkey or a horse. I mean, it was huge, and I was like, I don't think those are supposed to be this big. So it's been an eventful wildlife morning so far.
There's also a very fun story behind the park's name. Now you might think, correctly I might add, that in Italian, Gran Paradiso is translated as Great Paradise, and that's what you'll see in all the guidebooks and on all the maps. But that's probably not what it originally meant. The name likely comes from the phrase Gran Paradiso, which means the Great Wall in the local dialect here in the Aosta Valley, and refers to the nearby Gran Paradiso mountain itself, which sits on the border just between France and Italy. But somewhere along the way, as the name passed between the local dialect, French and Italian, Paradiso slowly became Paradiso. So the name everyone knows today is basically the result of a translation mix-up that just kinda stuck.
All right, it's gotten pretty steep again. We can see flags, so I'm assuming that means we're close. And since today's hike is basically a hut-to-hut trek, this feels like a really good time to explain what a Rifugio actually is. Because while we've heard about them before, we didn't really have any idea what they originally were for. So long story short, they're mountain huts where hikers and climbers can grab a meal, spend the night, or use it as a base before tackling bigger peaks like Gran Paradiso. We made it to the top. This is beautiful. Gran Paradiso is right here, and here is the hut. Most of the huts are operated with help from the Club Alpino Italiano, one of the oldest alpine clubs in the world, which was founded in Torino back in 1863 by Italy's finance minister, who was also an avid mountaineer. The club's original goal was actually exploring and mapping the Alps, but once people started venturing deeper into the mountains, it became pretty obvious they needed places to sleep and rest.
And this first Rifugio here is one of the oldest huts in the entire system. The original hut was built back in 1884 along the King's old hunting routes, and by the 1890s, English guidebooks had already nicknamed the hut the Palace because it was considered one of the nicest mountain huts anywhere in the Western Alps. But the building we see today with this very distinct curved metal roof was built right beside the original structure and was completed back in the 1960s.
So we're gonna go see if they have something to drink. Chris says it's not too early for a beer, so maybe a beer. Got myself a little macchiato, this beautiful view. Chris went ahead and got himself
a little beer. Got a few looks in there, but 922.
922, perfect.
So now from this first Rifugio, we are going to continue across the way to the second hut, which is Rifugio Federico Chabot, before looping back down to the start.
All right, great stop number one. Got a macchiato, a beer, had a little sneaky snack. So we're doing great. Hi, Marmot. Oh. Hello, little nugget. There's a human too. All the things I thought we'd see on this trail. Hello. Are you hanging out with the goats? Joe. Hello. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. Are you hurting us? Are you hurting? Hi, goats. This is insane. Oh my goodness. Hi. Hi. The dog's behind you. This is nuts. Oh, and there's sheep. This is insane. This is so crazy. Look, I know there's nothing crazy about someone's goats on a trail, but that was just really awesome.
That might be one of the crazier things we've experienced on a hike. And the shepherd just seemed completely fine with it. Like, he's just like, hey, I'm working. I'm like, okay.
We're going up there, way up there. See the little house? That's where we're going. And it has gotten very toasty out here with no shade. This is the final push, and I am so tired.
It's a long hike.
This is a...
This middle part's a slog, too.
The first ascent was tough, but then that in between, I mean, it was just up, down, up, down, up, down.
We're attacked by goats.
You're not attacked by goats. If anything, we made lots of goat friends. This is it. It's the final countdown. We're doing it. We made it to the second hut, and thank God, because I don't know if I could go up anymore. Before we start the loop back down, a little bit about this hut here. So while the first Rifugio we went to was really well known for being one of the nicest huts in the area, this Rifugio has a very different story. And it started in the 1960s when a group of alpine guides proposed building the hut, but getting the necessary permits dragged on for years. And because the window to build anything at this altitude is so small, the project stretched on even longer before finally opening in 1985. So yeah, it took several decades to build it. And as somebody who's just taken advantage of it with the water refill station, and Chris has got another beer, I would say it's a pretty great hut.
Yeah, inside they had a full restaurant, which was actually very busy. It's right around lunchtime. Like I said, I got my beer, so we're gonna sit here, look at this gorgeous view for a little bit. Already kind of dreading going back down because the whole way down is all downhill. Like this, the way up to both huts was kind of up and down. This whole way down is completely downhill, so it's gonna be tough on the knees for sure, but we'll enjoy this for now.
And we're gonna go down all of those different switchbacks into the forest. We are still hiking. I feel like we've been hiking for literally ever. That down was fairly brutal, especially at my knees. And without my poles, it took me a lot longer, embarrassingly amount of time to get down. We have about a mile walk up the road, up the literal road, to get back to our car. Overall, I really did like this hike. The last 4 or 5 miles have been type 2 fun, so not my favorite, but I know when I look back, it's gonna be great.
Do you need to go to the second Rifugio? Probably get by without doing that if you wanted to make it a shorter hike. I think our feet are wishing we probably had done that and turned around after the first one, but yeah, beautiful views throughout. I guess the second part of that hike down, especially, you kind of got into the forest, and so not many views. So that kind of sucked because it didn't take away from the hurt. Other than that, it was a great hike overall.
Yep. So we're gonna get back in the car, and then we're gonna drive back to where we're staying, and we'll see you tomorrow for another hike. Good night. Well, good morning.
A restful night.
Yeah, I don't even think my head hit the pillow before I fell asleep last night.
You went out pretty quick.
Yeah, so bit of a change of plans today. My knee is pretty pretty sore from the 4.5 miles downhill. So we are going to pivot the hike that we had planned on doing, and we're going to take you with us. It's going to be a little bit shorter, not as much up and down, and that means we can continue hiking for longer. So that's the plan today, so let's get to it.
We said yesterday's hike was difficult, and here's the after effects.
Very important.
Got a gimpy knee, we got a gimpy ankle, we got walking poles. All right, so as we've said, today is going to be a little bit of a recovery day hike for us. I was thinking back, it was probably a little ambitious for us to think we would do a 12.5 mile hike and 35,000 step day, followed up by another 7.5 mile hike. So this hike on all trails on the map at least is supposed to be just shy of 5 miles and like maybe 750 feet of elevation gain.
So Chris mentioned I was having some ankle issues in addition to my knee issues. My ankle issue though is because I became a statistic and fell off an e-scooter and tore a ligament back in 2022. Yesterday's hike, I've never really had a problem with it. The ankle's more swollen. We have it wrapped instead of my knee. My knee's actually doing okay because we're on a flat surface. My ankle's actually what hurts. So I'm just a walking hot mess today, but it's gonna be great because this view is epic. Oh my gosh. All right, we are heading back. We didn't go all the way. It started to get into more tree coverage and started going downhill, and it was just, I don't know what we're gonna do. But we do have a hike tomorrow that we're gonna go do, and that one's gonna have some incredible waterfalls and another great view of Mont Blanc. So let's see what we get up to, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. We are up bright and early yet again for our final hike in the Gran Paradiso National Park. It is about an hour and 5-ish minutes from where we were staying, so nowhere near where we're staying, but we really did want to do this hike before we head into the city of Aosta. All right, so for our third and final hike in this national park, we're going to be visiting one of the most popular spots in the entire park, the Lillaz Waterfalls. But if we're lucky with the weather and clouds, we'll also get a sneak peek at one of the most well-known mountains in the entire world. But first, these waterfalls. The stream feeding these falls crashes down nearly 500 feet over 3 separate drops before continuing through the valley below, and it is just beautiful. And these falls are incredibly easy to get to from the trailhead, as it's only about a half mile, and I think my watch says about 10 or 15 minutes. And I think a lot of people actually stop here and turn around and continue on with their days because it is so easy to get to very quickly. But we are going to go a bit further than that today. Still not as far as our hike on day 1, but this loop should be right about 7 miles and about 2,700 feet of elevation gain.
First mile and a half, 2 miles is like straight uphill. If you're wondering, my ankle's doing much better. Yesterday after our baby hike, we ended up just going back to our hotel and just, having it elevated, iced it, rested. So I'm doing much better today. But this is, whoo-wee, this is quite a start.
It's fine.
Chris thinks everything is fine. He's like that scene in Monty Python where the guy has literally no arms and he's like, I'm fine, I'm fine.
No arms left, just a flesh wound.
A flesh wound.
Yeah, mere flesh wound. I don't care what Chris says, it's a 45-degree angle. We just got our first very, very hazy glimpse of Mont Blanc. I'll zoom in so you guys can see it. It's way over there. I think our view was better yesterday because it was clearer. We were a little bit closer because we're in a different valley. It is a bit farther away, but don't worry. We're gonna get much closer to it in our next video. Wow, see any marmots? We are getting closer to the lake and we've come up out of the crazy alpine uphill part of this hike. We still have some more uphill to go, but we've entered this beautiful open field up here. I'm hoping to see some marmots. I really want to see an ibex. This is beautiful. I really do understand why creatures want to live here because I want to live here too. Look at him. We have made it to the lake, and it is beautiful and serene, and it is amazing. This was quite a climb to get up here. It was 2,600 feet.
2,600 feet for the first day. It's not even half the hike, so like 2.5 miles tops maybe for that elevation, which is pretty substantial.
This is beautiful, and
you can see the mountains.
I mean, this is gorgeous. I can't believe there's nobody here. And we also started pretty early. I think we got to the trailhead or 7:30-ish. And we've been finding that there's not a lot of, I don't want to say early risers, there's definitely people up. But unlike the States where parking lots fill up by like 6 or 7 in our national parks for some of the more popular hikes, we haven't had that issue. I guess you can sleep in a little bit if you're gonna come do the hikes. A little bit, not a lot of bit, just a little bit. So there's the lake. Way back there is the mountain, and our car is down there. Maybe a little bit farther down, over here somewhere. Hiked a long way. We're now down into the valley area, and I think we have seen on this trail, like we've passed maybe 10 people or that have passed us. It's just there's nobody here, and it's incredible. And I'm looking in this valley and these beautiful mountains, and it's just so impressive. It's like, I can't believe there's not more people here, but I understand that there's literally hundreds of miles of hiking trails. I guess we just got lucky with the ones that we did and when we did them. All right, Chris just told me we have a little less than 3 miles to go. So the first part of this hike, as we mentioned, was all uphill through the Alpine. And it appears that now the back half of this hike is more open in the meadow, which is absolutely stunning. We saw another marmot. Definitely some great wildlife here. Chris is loving every about, 50 feet, I'm stopping to look for ibex. So it's a lot of fun. We actually got to be in a lot of alpine, which is great because it's kind of hot out. And we came across this beautiful little meadow, and now we have to continue down. We've been following this like beautiful stream. It is just so, so pretty here. So for context, we parked down here, we walked over here, we went up this entire mountain to like even farther back there, and then we went down the other side of the mountain and then back through this crazy valley to get back here. And we're like a mile away. Okay, made it to town. Overall, I would say that was a good hike. I think it was the right distance, had a right variety, super hard uphill, but I enjoyed it. We came to Gran Paradiso because we wanted to explore a side of Italy that doesn't get nearly as much attention as other places like the Dolomites, and we are so glad we did. If you are wanting to do a hike somewhere with way less crowds while still getting some epic views, Gran Paradiso National Park should be on your radar.
Next up, we're heading just north of here into Aosta, one of Italy's most fascinating Roman cities, to explore the history, castles, food, and of course, wine and any other local drinks that we can find. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. We'll see y'all there. Cheers.
Cheers.